Welcome, brothers and sisters. This is the continuation of Exposing Mystery Babylon. This segment will be describing and locating prophetically the beast system discovered in Revelations prior the return of Jesus Christ, the King of Israel. However, in order to biblically understand prophecy, you must comprehend what is a prophet. Then you can properly attain knowledge according to what is written. Thus, 1. What is a prophet? 2. What is a beast? 3. How can this be interpreted? Again, the Bible must, I repeat, must interpret itself. Let's begin. Before we continue, first ask yourself, what is a prophet? As it is written, Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 5, Before I formed thee in the belly I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. Note, in context of this passage, we see that Jeremiah was chosen by God for the nations to be a prophet before he was even born. Jeremiah chapter 1 verse 7. But the Lord said unto me, Say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee thou shalt speak. Note, in this passage, we are able to have more understanding concerning a prophet. Not only are they called by God, they are also ordained to speak what he commands them to. So a prophet is someone who is chosen by God to speak on his behalf, which follows foretelling the future and much more as we seek in the scriptures. Next, what is a beast? As it is written, Daniel chapter 7 verse 23. Thus he said, The fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down, and break it into pieces. Note, in context, this scripture contains biblical proof that a beast is a kingdom, and in modern times, a kingdom is considered 1. A country, 2. A state or territory ruled by a king or queen. Let's review. 1. A beast in the scriptures is defined as a kingdom or power which has rulership in a specific land. 2. A prophet is an individual who is chosen by God to declare his words to the nations, which also possibly follows foretelling the future. Thus, now we can elaborate and pinpoint precisely the last kingdom which is foretold in biblical prophecy that will rule the world before Yeshua the Messiah returns. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, now that we have understood what a prophet is, also a beast, let's expound and uncover 11 prophecies that will identify Mystery Babylon. This presentation is to help and bring awareness to the viewer, to confirm that the Bible is true and absolute, so that no one can refute or disapprove the truth. I hope this will allow you to see and turn to Jesus Christ before it is too late. Let's begin.
Prophecy number 1. Revelation 17:3 says, I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast. Since the Bible defines its own prophetic symbols, what does it say about a woman, and what does it say about a beast? In Jeremiah chapter 6 verse 2 it says, I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. So woman is a church in prophecy. What is a beast in prophecy? Daniel chapter 7 verse 17 says, These great beasts, which are four kings. Prophecy says the woman, which we just found is a church, will join a beast, which is actually a nation. Where on earth do you see a church and a nation joined together as one political entity today? Daniel 7:23 also stated that doing so would make it utterly unique than any other nation before or after it. This fulfillment can only be seen in the nation called Vatican City. Furthermore, Vatican City is also the Roman Catholic Church simultaneously. Prophecy number 2. Revelation 17:3 says, I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast having 7 heads. John the Apostle declares the beast, which of course is the nation this woman or church is sitting on, has 7 heads. What do these 7 heads represent in prophecy? During this vision, the angel actually explains what those 7 heads mean in reality. Later on, in verse 9 of the exact same book, he tells John, the 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. Mountain is also defined as hill in the Strong's Concordance number 3735. The Roman Catholic Church admits in the Catholic Encyclopedia on page 529, it is within the city of Rome, called the City on 7 Hills, that the entire area of Vatican State proper is now confined. Prophecy number 3. Revelation 13 verses 17 and 18 says, The name of the beast, or the number of his name, is the number of a man, and his number is 666. The prophecy states there will be a man at the head of this church and state entity that will have a name with a numeric value on it. That value will be 666. Truth is, the Vatican government must always have a pope stand as the leader. When a pope dies, a new pope is elected immediately to stand in the same position as the previous pope. He carries his office, his title, and his name beyond the grave. All popes have the exact same title in the office of pope. What is the name they must carry together? The letters inscribed in the pope's mitre are these: Vicarius Filii Dei, which is the Latin for Vicar of the Son of God. Catholics hold that the Church, which is a visible society, must have a visible head. Christ, before his ascension into heaven, appointed St. Peter to act as his representative. Hence, to the Bishop of Rome, as head of the Church, was given the title Vicar of Christ. Interesting thing about the Latin language is that it is both their Roman alphabet as well as their Roman numeral system collectively. So all one needs to do is spell the name Vicarius Filii Dei and then add it up, as you see on the screen before you. It equals 666. There are actually over a dozen titles to the office of Pope. Each equals 666 individually. Prophecy number 4. I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. Revelation 13, verse 1. Prophecy states, this beast on 7 hills will be a blasphemous beast. How does the Bible define blasphemy? There are actually 2 definitions. The first one is when a man claims to be God himself. For it is written in John chapter 10, verse 33, the Jews answered him, speaking to Jesus, of course, saying, For a good work we stone thee not, but for blasphemy, and because that thou, being a man, makest thyself God. Definition number 2 is when a man claims ability to forgive sins. In Luke 5:21, they are again speaking about Jesus when they say, Who is this which speaketh blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone? As you recall, the first definition for blasphemy is when a man claims to be God himself. Does the Pope claim to be a God on earth? The Roman Pontiff judges all men, but is judged by no one. We declare, assert, define, and pronounce to be subject to the Roman pontiff is to every human creature necessary for salvation. That which was spoken of Christ, thou hast subdued all things under his feet, may well seem verified in me. I have the authority of the King of Kings, I am all in all and above all, so that God himself and I, the vicar of God, have but one consistory, and I am able to do all that God can do. The Pope and God are the same, so he has all power in heaven and earth. The Pope is not only the representative of Jesus Christ, he is Jesus Christ himself, hidden under the veil of flesh. If you recall, the second definition of blasphemy was for a man to claim to have the power to forgive the sins of men. Does the Pope claim the ability to forgive men's sin? This judicial authority will even include the power to forgive sin. And God himself is obliged to abide by the judgment of his priest, and either not to pardon or to pardon, according as they refuse to give absolution, providing the penitent is capable of it. Prophecy number 5, 6, and 7 are found in Revelation 17:8, where it says, Behold the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. Prophecy declares here that this beast will be in power at one time, and then it'll be inactive, and then it will come back to power. In other words, it'll be a beast that was in power, is not in power, and yet is back in power. Does history confirm these three events took place with the Vatican? The Vatican became a church and state power when Vigilus ascended the papal chair under the military protection of Belisarius in the year 538 AD. The Vatican lost its church and state power when Napoleon sent in General Berthier in 1798 and abolished the papal government and established a secular one. Then on July 7, 1929, we read, This morning there was another sovereign independent state in the world. Premier Mussolini and Cardinal Gaspari signed the sovereign independent state of Vatican City into existence. The Vatican regained its church and state power. The prophecy was fulfilled. The Vatican was a power from 538 AD to 1798 AD. It was not a power from 1798 to 1929. Then as of July of 1929, we see it is a power once again. Prophecy number 8.